Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. Time to talk SANFL, the Glenelg Footy Club, of course, premiers last year. New CEO. He's just been in the seat about 4 weeks, so we thought we'd check in on the CEO. Justin Scripps joins us. Scripsy, thanks for your time, mate.
All right.
Yeah, mate.
Well done last year, of course, mate, but a year moves pretty quickly, whether a corona year or not, mate. 4 weeks in the seat. How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's challenging. Obviously, all the corona stuff is interesting and changes day by day, and we've been liaising with the SANFL on a daily basis, pretty much, just to work out what's going on from week to week. But no, I've enjoyed the role. It's it's challenging. I've obviously been on the board for 10 years before now as footy director, so I had a bit of an insight as to what the club looked like. But definitely getting into the operational side's a different perspective.
Yeah, one of the good things about Glenelg that I noticed, and I drive past there pretty much every night going home from Port Adelaide and whatever, they had a terrific social club going. It took them a while, but they got it going. They had some really good lunches, and that looked like it was thriving.
Yep.
Corona would have hurt that considerably, I would think.
Yeah, and I think all clubs are in the same boat. I think we've all had to just shut down operations. Luckily for us, the support of the community down there has been great. We're getting back to some sort of business as usual, which is really good. So the bar and bistro's open back up and gaming's open up for clubs again. So we're getting back to what it used to be, which is great. And I think we're pretty lucky because we've got such a great facility down there. There's not too many clubs that have their bistro open up straight onto the oval. And so for a lot of parents with the kids and have a meal down there and watch training. So that's good. So it's been encouraging that, people are really coming back to the footy club, which has been good for us.
It was actually a thought at Alberton to do the same thing, to bring their social club onto the oval, like to face Alberton, because if you're in Port Adelaide Social Club downstairs, you don't see anything other than me. You have to go outside to watch the game. But at Glenelg, they're set up there. You've seen the setup.
Yeah, it's a fantastic setup.
It's outstanding. That's what it is. And I know that Ports have looked at a similar thing. The trouble is, if you touch anything in that grandstand, the whole thing might
fall down. But I know you came in late, but the coronavirus, trying to get, JobKeeper came in for the players. Then there was trying to staff cuts. Then there was, the volunteers. Then even trying to get them in because of the restrictions that were placed on you. You said it started to ease a little bit now, but then the season starts. First couple of games at Adelaide Oval, then finally you get a game at home, but then there's a restriction on numbers. Is it, and you've got a smile on your face, but do you ever feel that, geez, it's getting frustrating every day, it changes. It's just, there's no rule book for it either.
No, that's right, but I think every club's going through the same thing. So I'd even, when I first started in the role, like even the players had only had one practice match before getting into the season, so that was really challenging trying to. And before that, had been training in small groups, so it was really challenging even from a physical point of view to get the guys ready to be able to play, a season. And as it's panning out, we're looking like having 14 games straight, which hadn't happened for a long time, and the demands on the playing group, even compared to the AFL when these guys are part-time, is pretty significant. So we're really conscious from a player welfare point of view of trying to, support them and ease them back into it. But, the reality is we've got to... everyone's vying to win a premiership this year, and if you look at nationally, it's probably the only legitimate state league comp. We've got 14 games, everyone plays each other once. Obviously Victoria's in a lot of trouble, so there's a lot on the end of it, and if, touch wood, we can keep corona free and keep the season going, it'll be a really great outcome for the SANFL.
Yeah, and of course, you're also going to find that your ups and downs on the ground as well, I think, because of all this. It's not, it's going to be hard to find consistency with players. If they have to play 14 straight, it's going to be tough. And we saw it on the weekend. You look at the game, whoa, hang on a minute, how did the Bays get done? Oh, what happened there? Well, I think that's going to happen quite a bit within the league system this season.
Yeah, look, the reality of the comp, it's actually a great competition. And, there's just because you want to win a flag one year doesn't mean that you're a walk up for the next. We've seen the last few years that there's been a different premier each year, and, that's something that everyone's striving for. But you can't afford to rest on your laurels, but we've just got to, we've obviously not playing great footy at the moment, but we're developing, and it's a new list and new leadership group dynamic. So, there's a lot for us to work on, which is great. But, you know, I look at the competition over a period of time, and you know, I'm really envious of what Centrals were able to do, and obviously Port before that. Centrals winning 9 out of 11 years, and I think Port had 9 out of 12 before that.
Yeah,
and look at world sport. That rarely happens in any professional or semi-professional support. So the challenge for us is to make sure that we're putting ourselves into a position where we're competitive every year and giving ourselves every opportunity to, you know, to challenge for a flag. And, you know, what's happened last year is past us now. We're attacking 2020. You know, we can't change what's happened in the past. So the playing group and Mark have been really focused on, you know, forget the past and let's just get out and attack 2020.
Well, if you can recruit the Gowans brothers, you'll get guaranteed 8 or 9, mate. But I know they'll come back and play for you. Hey, we talk a lot about the senior team, of course, because that's the pinnacle of the club. But then there's the women, there's the juniors. They're all coming back too and got to feed through the same system. It's been difficult trying to get them through the corona situation.
Yeah, absolutely. The junior development program is, I think the 13s and 14s program's been put on hold. The 15s program looks like they're trying to get up in October, so there's still a bit going on. But yeah, it's challenging trying to get everyone back. And the other challenge for the SANFL is just ground availability as well, because we've had this trouble with the growth of women's footy. Now ground space everywhere is really challenging. So that obviously flows across into local clubs as well. But that's a challenge for footy. But it's a great position to have because we know we've got girls that are wanting to play footy now, and it can only be healthy for the game.
Wow.
Mate, I don't want to put you on the spot, and everyone has a little hobby horse, but I've got this one of mine with the AFL and the draft. I'm saying the AFL needs to leave the SANFL clubs alone, and the VFL and the Waffle and the Queensland League, and draft within themselves. So mid-season they can have a draft, and any player can go from any club as long as they're AFL, because I saw the impact last year, you know, and you're a part of it. You know, you lose a guy, you're heading towards the finals, everything's in place, and then bang, 2 of your best players have gone, and then one of them doesn't even play, but he's just sitting there and watching. Have you got thoughts on it, or? Yeah,
look, I'm a bit with you, Phil. I think that it's there's enough people in the players in the system to be able to afford to do that if they need to. And I think and you know, to be honest, South have probably been hit more than us. You know, they lost I think 3 ruckmen in 12 months or so when they recruited. So that's really difficult, and you know, it's really challenging, particularly when you're playing against AFL teams, and you know, you list, you know, you do a lot of work to get guys on your list, and particularly if you've got to recruit from interstate, which I said South had that challenge. But yeah, Lockie Hosey going to North Melbourne last year was challenging. We were lucky enough, obviously, that we had quite enough depth to replace him, but yeah, it's really problematic. I'd prefer that they kept the model as it is, and even with the draft age, you know, maybe it's an opportunity now that they look at raising that to maybe 19 instead of the 18. You know, there's plenty of examples where kids have not been drafted but turned into really good SANFL footballers. That, you know, that they tend to fall off a tree if they don't get drafted in that 18th year. But there's still so many guys playing good SANFL footy that could get the opportunity to get drafted. So
I think that's the point. I agree with what you say, Phil, to a point. But I still think there's that 23-year-old, 24-year-old guy out there playing in the SANFL that still harbours that. I want to play.
I think they're the ones they should get, but they just shouldn't get them during the season.
There's a few of them. There's a few of those sort of players out there that there's still a chance. See, I thought a couple of years ago, mate, that I thought Luke Reynolds was one of those players who, if they had given him another opportunity, he's already had one, but you give him he's a good player. He's you know, sometimes he looks like he's a cut above in the SANFL.
I think there's plenty of the competition's really good, and I think you know, we see that the SANFL traditional clubs are really competitive against the AFL teams when they've been in. So there's plenty of guys. I reckon there's probably half a dozen guys on a list on each SANFL club list that could fit into that mould. So Renault's definitely one of those.
Hey, Justin, really appreciate you taking time to come in.
Good luck, mate.
I know you're a busy man. Big game this weekend against the Eagles. Get down there and support the Bays. If you haven't got time, then you need to get down there and have a feed, because it is a great feed down there at the club. Stay with us. Still plenty to come.